Hey everybody, ronarray here, and as 3.26 progresses, leveling up becoming more and more important, so sometimes you just need a little levels to finish your build or just want to level up faster, so you will be able to stop at the level which you consider comfortable for yourself. So in this video, I wanted to showcase the strategies that will help you to level up for cheap and while running pretty easy solo strategy. You will also be able to make some currency in the process, and all Scarabs that I'm showing in that video cost only 1 chaos each, so it will be very easy and accessible if your build can handle it. That strategy been used in 3.25 pretty proactively, and it's providing very decent amount of experience, so you will be able to get the levels that you want pretty fast. Let's go and I will be able to explain how it's working. So for that strategy, we're going to use a combination of mechanics to get as many monsters in the map as possible, and we're also going to utilize a very cool thing called evolution shrines, because evolution shrines will be able to improve the monsters in our map. It's going to boost our experience significantly, and we will be able to use those shrines consistently to get as much XP per map as possible. It also combines very good with mechanics that currently providing additional things to your maps. I think Breach together with Beyond is probably the best combination. So that way, combining the shrines together with Breach and Beyond is going to give us a lot of monsters and additional experience from evolving them. So what kind of Scarabs we are going to use for it? Initially, we are going to run double Breach Scarabs, because that way we will be able to receive a decent amount of breaches, that will be approximately like 4 breaches per map, and double Domination Scarab of Evolution. All those basic Scarabs are cost only 1 chaos, so it will be very cheap for us. And the last Scarab here is going to be Beyond Scarab of Invasion, which is going to give us rare and unique monsters slain in area, create 8 to 12 additional Beyond portals. That way we are going to have a very constant Beyond in our maps, and it's going to help us significantly just with the amount of monsters that we are spawning from Beyond. That way your map should cost only 5 chaoses, and it will be very easy to make it back just from basic drop from breaches, or your monsters will just like bubblegum currency. Now let's talk about the Atlas. So in the Atlas we are focusing on the same things that we already mentioned, and it's pretty much Breach together with Beyond. But I also heavily recommend to add June, because June is going to give you additional experience, and you will also get like safe houses occasionally, which have like experience bonus overall. So it's definitely recommend to just invest 4 points right here for June. Otherwise, we're just taking Breach for additional chances, additional rare monsters, taking all possible bonuses for shrines right here as application, together with Drawn to Power and Syncretism. And up here we're also taking all small Domination Shrine chance bonuses, just to get additional shrines in your maps. Shrines are also going to help you out significantly when you're clearing your maps, because they're going to make your character stronger and it will be much easier for you to clear. Choosing between like left and right side, we're usually going through the left, picking all Beyond points right here for merging radius, and it's pretty important you will need to pick Endless Tide, because Endless Tide will give you Beyond portals on your maps has less merging radius, but cannot spawn unique bosses. It's pretty important, because otherwise you're just going to spawn unique boss pretty fast, and you will not get new monsters in your maps from Beyond. But we need to have Beyond monsters through the whole map, so it's pretty important to have an Endless Tide allocated. We're also taking Scent of Blood together with all Beyond chances here, 1 Beyond chance here, and all possible effect of explicit modifiers. It's very important to get all explicit modifiers bonuses, including Chisel Perfection, Mountain modifiers, and all of the small nodes, because explicit modifiers is going to boost your pack size significantly, which is very important for the setup. So what kind of map you will need to run for that setup? Generally, I recommend to run any map with a lot of space. So something like Mesa, for example, is going to work pretty good, or Strength, for example, would be a very good map as well. You need to aim for as high monster pack size as you can get, like usually I'm aiming close to 30% at least for non-corrupted maps. That way it will be much more expensive and it will be easier for you to clear. Another interesting topic right here that we can mention, we can just add Delirium orbs to the setup. However, most of the Delirium orbs currently cost about 9 chaoses per each, so if you want to keep your strategy cheap, just avoid adding Delirium orb at all. But if you just want to get like as high amount of experience as you want, just click your map with any Delirium orbs that you have available. And next step, when you have like your Scarabs prepared and when you have additional bonuses, you can pick Breach right here or additional shrines. So most of the time you're just picking that or Domination for shrines. Domination for shrines are going to make your whole run a little easier. And Breach is just going to add a few breaches, which is in my opinion pretty nice. You don't really need to choose Beyond, so just Breach will be enough. Most of the time I prefer to click it with Breach, but Breach map bonus right here costs just more chaoses. It will be 6 chaoses if it will not be free, so that's why I heavily recommend to use that instead. If you're not sure how strong your character is, going for Domination is probably the better idea. Another interesting question is what other Scarab options we can run. So Domination Scarab of Evolution is probably one of the most important things that we're going to run for that strategy, but we can spawn like 3 additional breaches just from Mapcraft, which is pretty nice, and that way we can change the rest of the Scarabs. You can try to run Scarab of Monstrous Lineage, for example, which could be a nice bonus for magic pack size. There are going to be more monsters in general, and that should lead to a pretty good options too. And if you want like very expensive but practically more effective option, you can also add Horned Scarab of Bloodlines, because that way you will have more increased magic monsters in general, and combination like that is probably going to give you more experience if you really focused on that. And another interesting question is, there is a point to run tier 17 maps instead of just tier 16s. Since tier 17 is going to give you higher level of the array itself, I think if you have tier 17s and your build is like capable to run the strategy with them, there's definitely a point to run something like that. I recommend to run like Ziggurat or Citadel most of the time, because I feel just like Fortress right now not really working that good with breaches. So the most expensive and probably the most effective in terms of experience setup is going to be just like that. So you'll still have like Evolution Scarabs, you'll have Monstrous Lineage, and you'll have Scarab of Bloodlines, together with tier 17 map just clicked with Delirium orbs. That way you can just maximize amount of the experience that you're receiving. And don't forget about Breach Craft, because that way you're going to receive breaches inside. So while running that strategy in tier 17, at level 97, I've been able to receive almost 10% per one map, which is a pretty good result, considering the investments, and the map itself is pretty fast and you're still receiving currency from running like Ziggurat if you're killing the boss consistently. However, be careful with tier 17 version, because if your build is not strong enough, you could have issues with survivability here and it could be harder for you. So in that case, just stick with tier 16 and you will be able to get more experience. Another interesting question is how to make the whole run easier or faster. So first off, if you want it to be faster, I heavily recommend to take Flash Breach, because breaches in your maps open and close 10% faster is a pretty nice bonus. On top of it, if you feel like you can't clear the whole breach in the given time, going for Heavy Breach could be a pretty nice idea as well. And to make it easier, I think dropping the Delirium is probably the best idea, because Delirium currently will add a pretty decent level of difficulty. So go for Heavy Breach, make sure that you have shrines, maybe add even more shrines to your maps, and drop Delirium completely if your build can't handle it even in tier 16. In the process of running those maps, you're also going to receive a pretty decent amount of gold, which is pretty nice. And the last part is June by itself. I honestly think right now June is going to provide a stable profit together with additional experience. So I heavily recommend to add June to the whole run, and I'm absolutely sure that it's going to be pretty good and it's going to improve your whole situation. So make sure that you're running June safe houses when you're receiving them, and you're killing at least everything except research in your maps as well, if your character can handle the June encounters. I hope that guide will be able to help you out with just focusing on leveling faster in the endgame and getting the level that you currently want, while running solo and pretty comfortable maps. Thank you very much for watching as usual, and ronarray out.